The following program is being brought to you on the Voice America Health and Wellness Channel. For more information about our network and to check our additional show hosts and topics of interest, please visit voiceamericahealth.com. The Voice America Talk Radio Network is the worldwide leader in live Internet talk radio. Visit voiceamerica.com. The views and ideas expressed on the following program are strictly those of the host or guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and ideas held by the Voice America Talk Radio Network, its staff, and management.
Welcome to Insight, Living with Vitality, provided by Melissa Alexander. If you are one of the many individuals who are living with emotional, physical, and spiritual blockages, it's time to clean that life up. In this program, you'll learn about choices you can make and breakthroughs available to help you choose a better path and, more importantly, live a life of vitality. Now, here is your host, Melissa Alexander.
Good, wonderful morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for your weekly dose of insight. I am your host, Melissa Alexander, and here with me is my featured guest, Galen Holmes. He is the general manager of the Campus Fitness Center here in bustling Marlborough, Massachusetts. His center is exclusive to the lucky employees of a multi-business industrial office park. Visit Galen's website at campusfitnesscenter.com to learn more about him, his programs, and for inspiration to get your body moving. Thank you for joining me today and sharing your expertise.
Oh, thanks for having me, Melissa. It's a really exciting time of year in the health and fitness industry, and really excited to have a chance just to share some insights, and hopefully everybody leaves with, one or two things that they can, put right into practice right away to help make themselves a little healthier this year.
Yes, and of course with everyone's New Year's resolutions being in place, I'm sure you're just incredibly busy. Everyone's coming in, all these new goals. And when we first met back in December of 2016, I didn't realize myself how little I knew about fitness equipment, about exercising properly, and how to maximize my personal time at the gym. I thought that by just pressing those buttons and following the prompts was enough to call that my workout for the day. But that method doesn't make progress, nor achieve those goals, whether it's a New Year's resolution or for something exciting that might be coming up this year. It is so much more than that. When it comes to your client base, who are within a very demanding healthcare and diagnostics field, their time is limited. How do you accommodate their needs for efficiency and their need for results?
Well, it's a great question, and certainly this time of year we are, extremely busy with all the New Year's resolutioners, and the goal every year, people certainly come and people go. Our objective every year is, as we work with people, we try to, create some good habits and get them to maintain those habits over the course of not only the entire year, but over the course of their lifetime. I think the biggest thing too with, being here at an office park, it's a corporate fitness center, and people are certainly busy with work and, trying to balance that in addition to busy personal and family lives and social things going on. It definitely the need to find efficient solutions, I think, is a really good way to put it, for people to help them work, toward their goals. But it all starts with, the initial consultation and finding out what is it that people want to do, and finding out what their resources are, what they're able to commit for time, and what kind of support that they have. That's really the key, because from that point, you can go and you can work with them on maybe modifying their goals if they have a goal that's a little bit too lofty for what they have for resources, or maybe even help them push their goal a little bit further, But the big thing too, like you said, about pushing buttons and things, it's, that the culture now where everything's like an app. People want to do everything on an app and they want to push a button and get a result. Certainly fitness is not a way that you can do that by pushing buttons, so it might be appropriate you push the buttons to start the treadmill, but that way you're going to have to do some work.
You have to actually work.
Absolutely. Yes. And I guess one of my struggles is I'm a little bit old school. I'm not a big technology person or social media person or things like that, but So I have to get better at that this year so I can connect with people, because that's how people are running their lives now. So
yeah, and I imagine you find a way to integrate that in with your programs and help people achieve the goals even more.
Yeah, we absolutely do. Yeah, we sure do.
I'd love you to jump into more and define, you have a specific special strength and conditioning coaching ability that offers, is it different in comparison to a regular personal trainer, or how does that work?
So I'll just, I guess, talk a little bit about my background. So I went to college. I graduated from Bridgewater State University in 1997. I have a physical education degree with a concentration in exercise science. So funny story. So I actually started as an athletic training major. I wanted to be an athletic trainer and, be on the sidelines or at games and helping athletes with their injuries and things like that. You have to rip tape, and I could not rip the tape and do the tape jobs that I was required to do. And after some thought, I felt like I wanted to try to get more on the preventative side of injuries and things like that. And so I went over and I changed my concentration, my major focus to exercise science. So initially I wanted to be a strength and conditioning coach at a university. But as everybody, you have certain plans when you're 18, 19 years old, and then life takes its twists and turns. And so I elected not to go that route and elected to get into the corporate fitness field there too. But the cool thing is having the certification I have, which is, it's officially called a Certified Strength and Conditioning Specialist through the National Strength and Conditioning Association, versus a regular personal trainer certification, is the strength and conditioning one is a little bit more geared towards athletes. And I think that it serves me best because, for two reasons. One, on my part-time, I'm an assistant football coach at WPI, so I get to use a little bit of that knowledge and those skills. And then the other thing, a lot of people are the weekend warriors. They play softball and baseball and pick up basketball and things. So although they might have some general health goals, they want to lose weight, look better, eat better, get off cholesterol meds, but they still have that competitive athlete inside them, and they still want to be better and pick up basketball on Sunday morning. So I think it gives me an opportunity to help people. And I've had both certifications, but I just find for me, this serves me best. But they're both great certifications and, great education and, great things to have.
And it allows you to apply to their personality as well, too. If they're talking about, like you said, the weekend warrior, or they're trying to achieve that goal, or they're trying to become more, where it's through that fitness level that you can help them achieve that next level within their goals.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
With that personal background as your college football player, you also did a competitive powerlifting and coaching the college football at WPI, and applying that insight into what you offer through your programs. So could you jump into more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. The exercise science background, it helps because you learn a lot about anatomy and physiology and energy systems and how the body works, and there's a lot of science, hence the word science and the actual concentration. So there's certainly a lot of science, and I think for me I've always been good at science and not so good in math and other things, but I think for me, and what I've learned over the 20 plus years that I've been in this industry is that the science is all really, it's good stuff, and it's how the body works, and if you want to burn fat, you need to do things a certain way, but the thing to consider is that it's also an art too, because you could write a phenomenal program for somebody that's all science and research based, but if it's not something that motivates them to do it, it's not going to work no matter how good it is. So I think there's a bit of an art to it too, where you have to apply obviously all the concepts and all the things that are in the science aspect of fitness, but I think there's also an art to program design, and factoring in client personality, like you talked about, what their goals, what their resources are, and kind of putting the two together to, try to put people in the best chance for success.
And that's what you've implemented into your center to assist your clients with that mindset shift where they can accomplish the goals. You have other practitioners that have jumped in through acupuncture, chiropractic, my lymphatic system cleansing I have offered there. And through that has helped create that motivation. And you've seen that shift in your clients.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're certainly at our core, we're a fitness center, with all the strength equipment, group fitness classes, personal training, cardiovascular equipment, things like that. But at the same time, becoming healthier for people, it's a different journey for different people. And we wanted to make sure that over the years we brought in some other services that would help enhance people's quest to get healthier and live more healthy lifestyles. So we offer massage, we offer acupuncture. We actually just brought in a chiropractor, so we have a partnership with that. And then certainly Melissa, with you at the gym with the lymphatic cleansing is huge. And for us, where people are at work, it makes it very convenient for people. Where it's like, I need to do massage, or I want to go do lymphatic cleansing, or I need to see a chiropractor because my back or my neck's bothering me. It gives people this avenue where they can come down, walk down the hall, and come in and take advantage of some of these things. And it's great cross-referral, too. Certainly, people need to do exercise. So people go see the massage therapist or go see you, and you recommend that they come see us, and we learn about things going on with them, and we recommend they go see you. So I think it's an awesome partnership.
Yeah, and making that easy, like you said, to help create that motivation. If it's easy to do, then there's no excuses.
Absolutely. We try to, a lot of what we do is trying to eliminate excuses from people, no doubt, no doubt.
And do you have any specific stories or results or transformations that you've seen from beginning to end that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I think, there's been a lot of them. I think just the most recent one is have a client, has a 5-year-old baby. She's a corporate attorney. She's very, very busy. So it's been difficult for her to find time. So she came in for a consultation. They kind of hit the wall. Enough was enough. She wanted to lose weight. And I think that that's an important thing for people to consider with regards to change. As human beings, I feel like we all resist change. You get in your comfort zone, and change is always a really difficult thing to go through, no matter what it is that you're trying to do. But for her, I think the biggest thing was and I don't want to sound dramatic, but the pain of where she was with the weight she had gained, the decrease in her health, that pain for those things happening had become greater than the pain of change. And that's when, I guess, the magic would happen, because now not only do they have a goal, but they've got an emotional connection to that goal, and now they're not going to let things interfere and let roadblocks keep them from achieving that goal. So I think that that's really critical for people. Is you have to have a goal. You have to have a specific goal. It's got to be realistic. It's got to be something that you can attain, but there's got to be a deep emotional connection to it. So I think that that's just critical. And it's interesting because we try to help everybody as much as we can. But if I had 10 people come in, and based on a 5-minute conversation with them, I could give you a pretty good estimate of how many people would succeed, just based on how emotional and how important that goal is to them, deep inside them.
And would you consider that one of your biggest obstacles is the emotions that they're going through at this point of their change, or are there other ones you've observed as well?
Yeah, I think emotion could certainly be an obstacle, because especially when you start talking about eating and things like that, and with food can be a very emotional thing. And I know as a child, I was a very obese, overweight child, and I love my parents. They did the best that they could in things, but and I'm grateful for all their love. But I think they didn't know anything about health and fitness. They were both smokers. Were fairly sedentary in their lifestyle and things like that, and as a result, I was sedentary and really overweight. So I think having that background helps me connect with people a little bit, that we're just at a different time. I was overweight and obese when I was a kid and kind of went the other way, and they were fit and healthy when they were a kid and are now going the other way. But I think that's important to be able to connect with people.
Yeah, because it comes from a place of passion and being there, and it is like you talked about the emotional connection.
Yeah,
where going through those emotions and overcoming that has really led you to this point where you're helping other people transform and overcome that as well.
Yeah.
And we're about to go on break, but I want to come back and not only elaborate more on the background, but also talk more about the differences between the cardiovascular training, the strength training, and more of the benefits of working with the trainer to really refine that point. And we're going to also jump into, of course, your youth and college insight, which really helps people when they're talking to the younger generation or from an older perspective. So I appreciate it. We'll look forward to it, and we will be right back.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit facebook.com/Voice America.
Want more insight to transform your health and your world? Visit roots2wingstransformations.org and join the email list for the radio show Insight Living with Vitality, provided by Melissa Alexander. While on her website, learn more about lymphatic system cleansing, additional services offered, read reviews, and how you can start your own transformation. Visit r2wtransformations.org. That's R2W transformations.org and download your free self-assessment guide to get started now. Contact Melissa today and ask for insight.
Have you become a member yet? Sign up now to become a member of Voice America. It's always free and easy. Plus, you get to take advantage of some great member benefits. Get unlimited access to millions of hours of on-demand content across all of our channels. Keep track of your favorite episodes, shows, and hosts in your own customizable library. Find out what shows you might be interested in based on your favorites. Plus, you get insider access with our newsletter. Membership gives you more. Sign up at voiceamerica.com and click Register at the top right.
These days, everyone is looking for information on staying young, healthy, and fit. The Voice America Health and Wellness Network is here to help you on your quest to better health and a better you. We talk about everything from diet, fitness, and aging to substance abuse, personal growth, mental health, and much more. Learn from our experts who cover health and wellness from traditional and holistic perspectives. Tune in to the Voice America Health and Wellness Network. Healthy living starts here.
Opinions, options, answers. You're listening to Voice America Health and Wellness.
You are listening to Insight Living with Vitality, provided by Melissa Alexander. If you would like to reach the program today, our toll-free number is 1-866-472-5792. Again, that's 1-866-472-5792. If you'd rather send an email, please send it to Melissa at r2wtransformations.org. That's Melissa at r2wtransformations.org. Now, back to Insight Living with Vitality.
Welcome back. I am your host, Melissa Alexander, and here with me is my featured guest, Galen Holmes. He is the general manager of the Campus Fitness Center here in bustling Marlborough, Massachusetts. His center is exclusive to the lucky employees of a multi-business industrial office park. You can visit his website at campusfitnesscenter.com to learn more about him, his programs, and for inspiration to get your body moving. We were previously talking about why Galen had decided to dive into the very competitive health and fitness industry, how his background, but also how he has applied that to coaching youth today. I'd love you to jump back in and describe more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was like, before we went on break, Melissa, I kind of described it as an obese, kind of unfit, unhealthy kid. And then, I started playing sports and started playing football, and I turned into essentially like a workout maniac. So I remember my dad was in a bowling league, so I used to go up there, play arcade games. And then there was a guy who used to clean the alley, saw me with a football jersey on and at bowling alley, and saw me with a football jersey on, and he was a bodybuilder, so he was really into working out. And so he made a deal with me that in exchange for me helping him clean some tables, he would help me with some workout ideas and things. So that was around 6th grade, and then I just really took a liking to it. So I was a bit of a workout maniac when I was in high school and through college. I always found just the science behind it really interesting, so it just became like, it just comes naturally to me to work in this thing, and I always felt like I wasn't sure what I would do for a living as I was growing up, but I knew I just wanted to do something that I enjoyed, because that was one thing my parents always impressed upon me was if you do what you love to do, you won't work a day in your life. So I think that was, really, really
the
good.
happiness that comes from, because you're every single day you're going to work happy because you're passionate and your objectives.
Absolutely, and it's really great to just see people who come in and are struggling with weight, with strength, with, I can't play with my kids the way I want, or I want to climb a mountain, but I can't right now because I got this issue and I'm unfit and unhealthy, whatever it might be. And it's just so rewarding to work with these people on a daily basis and see their faces light up when they can start to do things that they couldn't do. I take a lot of gratification in that. I think it's the thing that kind of motivates me the most about what I do.
Absolutely, to see that transformation. And do you have something then that you suggest people should consider before they begin an exercise program? I imagine you have a certain process that you like to go through before they actually start on the treadmill or what's suggested.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the biggest thing is the way we work with people, as I talked a little bit about in the beginning, come in for a consultation. So the one thing that we do, all the programming that we do with our members, is it's all individual based. So some people come in and choose to work out on their own, but most people come in, they want some guidance, and it's like unless you're like a tax person, you're probably going to someone to get your taxes done, and even when I do get people, because sometimes, it's people, maybe they're hesitant to work with a trainer and things like that. And I guess the way I always handle that is I ask them what they do for work, and, maybe they're an engineer or an accountant. Well, is it possible for you to teach me in one hour session everything I need to know to be an engineer? And the answer is always no. And the thing is, there's so much information out there on the internet, in magazines, social media, that people feel in some ways that they have all the knowledge that they have because it's constantly in their face. And the big thing that a trainer will do is they will go and help determine what pieces of that information actually is relevant to you, because it's not all relevant. There's a ton of good information, but there's also, we know the internet's full of some really bad information too. And even the good information may not be right for you. So I think it's important that a trainer can help with those things. And I get every day, we're working with people and it's, hey, Galen, I read this, or I heard about this, and is this a good diet, and what do you think about this? And because they're seeing these things all the time. So it's good. So it's a big part of not even just like the actual workouts and training plans that we do, but a lot of it's just education too, to help them just have good base knowledge in other areas as well.
And they utilize you as a resource, because it might apply to, like you said, that person next door to them, but it doesn't apply to them in their specific case or their background or where their goals are that you've helped them achieve.
Yeah, absolutely. And the biggest thing is, so the typical person that might come into our gym that we would work with would be, I guess your average, we'll just say desk jockey, probably has a busy job, got a couple of kids, busy, maybe coaching their children's sports teams, involved in their church or other social activities, and have kind of let their health and fitness go. And then the pain of change has exceeded the pain of staying in that unhealthy state. So they come and they see us. I guess the first thing is I always with people is, I use this exact phrase, is we want to start slow. I want people to leave, especially the first few workouts, wishing like we did more instead of wishing like we did less. Because if someone comes in and does a workout with you and you're so sore the next day that you can't move, they're not coming back. Yeah. And they're going to now not join a gym, they're not going to work with any trainer, and now you're essentially demotivating them instead of inspiring them for change. So I always emphasize to people, especially at town, the first couple of workouts, the goal is not to just make you sore, because we could do that, but just because it hurts doesn't mean it's good for you. And it doesn't mean that you're going to be any more fit. In fact, you might get hurt. So what we want to focus on is basics, technique and form, and then what we want to do is then gradually just build. I always like to joke with people, it's Rome wasn't built in a day, it took at least a week. So you got to give me at least a week. So, but it takes some time. But so it's trying to find that balance, going back to motivation, between people are like hungry and eager to get started, and now you have to channel that energy that they bring to the table a little bit so that they don't overdo it and end up setting themselves back before they've even taken a step forward. So we always emphasize going slow. Wish you did more, wish you did a little bit more than wishing you did less, and just gradually building things. We want people to stick with it. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's going to take time. So,
and that's where you help them to shift their mindset from just that temporary, New Year's resolution to have it become a permanent solution in their life, and to think that way, that this is not a sprint. We are going to make this your life and complete that for them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's most of the people that I work with at this particular location, it's not a lot of people that come in and want to have a six-pack and things like that, because that takes some extreme training and nutritional things that you have to do. We don't focus on the things that people cannot do. We focus on the things that people can do. So maybe someone comes in and they don't have the mobility, the core strength, or the flexibility to perform a proper squat. So we're not going to squat. We're going to find the things that we can do and then work based on those types of things. And I really, the thing that people notice the most, after 2 weeks, you start working out, you'll be a little stiff, a little sore, but you're going to notice an increase in energy, and people start to feel a little bit more energy, and then they start to, hey, maybe the scale moves a little bit, or like, hey, I could, do 100 pounds on this exercise before, now I can do 110 pounds, that motivates them, and they want to keep coming back, and then it snowballs, But the key is to start with a small ball and gradually build it up.
And how has that motivation changed over time? I imagine at the very beginning versus now, and like you mentioned, the social media, the technology, but also different people with their requests.
Yeah, and it's interesting, Melissa, because so when I was first out of college, I was a former college football player, so I'll admit it here on the internet radio waves that I was a meathead, but certainly my own training and things have changed over the years too as I've gotten older and things like that. But I think so. I had initially, when I first started training, I was trying to get people to accept the goals that I had for them versus letting them set their own goals, and I've, over the last 15 years, have really gotten a lot better at doing that, which I think has been good. Because if it's something that's important to you, you're more likely to put the effort into it. So like at home, we try to, get my son who's 13 today, happy birthday, Keller, but try to get him to clean his room, and it's a hassle sometimes because I'm a bit of a neat freak. But I guess the big thing is like and it comes back to working with people is, we'll give them things to do, and then we always make sure we explain how these things are going to help them achieve their goals. Because if you know how it's going to help, people are more likely to stick with it, engage in those activities on a regular basis.
And with that knowledge of how, rather than just, do this and trust me, it'll work, you teach them, you train them, and you assist them. Absolutely.
Absolutely. We want people to leave with good knowledge and things like that, because, people come in and train. They might come in at our gym. We don't see a lot of people 3 days a week. A lot of people will exercise 3 or 4 days a week, but they work with a trainer 1 day a week, and what happens is we want to make sure that they've got some good knowledge so when they are training on their own and working out on their own, that they can do so safely and effectively.
Exactly, and not just stand there like I was at the beginning, pushing those buttons, hoping something worked.
Yep.
You know it's going to work.
Yeah. Did it ever work?
Well, no. Well, and that's why it's one of those things, to have that knowledge and the ability to use the equipment properly, but also the training that you then provide them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you've also implemented into your center to assist your clients with their overall health, their mind shift, their stress relief, and their engagement by putting in the chiropractic, the acupuncture, and all those access and have it be easy. Your lymphatic system first cleansing was with me back in June 2017. And what did you experience with that cleansing, and how did that assist you with your fitness goals and your mindset goals that you then wanted to offer that to your clients?
Yeah, so I know we met at, I think, a health fair. Yep, we met at a health fair, and I'm always interested in different things that are available to help people improve health. I feel like it's my role as the general manager is to offer people the tools and then help them decide what tools are best, and also for people to decide the things that they want to do. So I was curious, I wasn't familiar with it at all. So I came down, had a session, and it was really, really good. I always like to try things before we bring them into the fitness center. Even we all know the benefits of massage therapists, but we never bring in a massage therapist unless, we've had a chance to have them work with us a little bit so we get a feel for their personality. We want to make sure it's a good fit. But it was really, really good. I think, for me, as I get older and my personal goals, I'm less interested in how much weight I can lift and things like that, and more just working to trying to stay upright every day, with some nagging injuries and things, but also just being a healthier person and being a good example for my son. But it was really good. I think it was very relaxing, and it's so hard to describe, but I felt so clean and pure after. Like I didn't want to do anything but drink water, because I was afraid I was going to ruin my little high I got there.
Oh, it was like your body was put through a filter.
Yeah, it was
all squeegee clean, and you were able to just feel that lightness, feel that energy, feel that your body had been holding on to maybe a little bit of something extra that it didn't need anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was really, really good. So right then and there, I knew, I was like, this is something that we got to give people access to,
especially in the stressful environment that corporations and the work environments can bring that to the surface. And
absolutely.
If you can get rid of that stress, and then you can help them maintain their bodies and their mindset connection.
Absolutely. The number one thing that when people come in is they want to lose weight, right? And they want to lower stress. Mm-hmm. Those are the reasons why they want to exercise, and with goal setting, we just try to, I try to emphasize with people, certainly you want some specific goals and things, and those are super important, but you got to focus a little bit on process-oriented goals. If you start exercising 3-4 days a week and you start making some changes to your eating habits, you're going to lose some weight. Instead of, being a slave to the scale and, jumping on the scale every day and things like that, focus on the process,
And that's where you've seen the most benefit with the clients, and the specific thoughts on how you then incorporate strength training. So they've gone through the weight, but then to build up that strength and then build up their heart health with the cardiovascular training. I'd love to hear more about that.
Okay, so what I find is most people gravitate to what they would perceive to be non-intimidating and the things that they feel comfortable with. Almost everybody's ridden an exercise bike. Almost everybody's utilized a treadmill at some point in their life, or they've been a runner or a walker at some point. But if you're pressed for time, that may not be the most efficient way to achieve your goals, whether it's building strength or whether it's cardiovascular health. So what we try to do is find a good balance of cardiovascular fitness along with strength training so people can gain the best of both worlds. Because the reality is, even if someone doesn't want to do strength training, I guess we not trick them, but we will design a strength program that will elicit also a cardiovascular response. So that way they can gain the best of both worlds. Because, and I would always recommend to people, if you are short on time, and this is my personal belief, and 100 other trainers could maybe tell you something different, and they would be right too. It goes what you believe in and what you've had success with working with people. But I believe if you had 3 days a week and you only had 30 minutes per session, you would be better off doing strength training workouts, because you can certainly design them in a way that will help gain some cardiovascular fitness, but you cannot take a treadmill workout and have it benefit strength. And as we get older, especially with females with bone density and being able to function and just being able to do the things that we have to do every day, take out the trash, mow the lawn, go grocery shopping, carry things upstairs, change light, like all those things, that's important to have good strength and good mobility so you can do those types of things. The common population that's resistant are females, because they associate strength training with bodybuilding. So they always, I don't want to get big. I don't want big arms. And, you don't have, typical female doesn't have the right hormonal systems in their body or enough testosterone to create those changes, So it's bringing it back to, here's how the strength training is going to help you actually lose body fat and lose weight and those types of things. So I think that's really important too.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And with someone who comes to you and says they're too busy to exercise or too busy to do, to make that progress, but also when you talk about the cardiovascular health, I mean the rampantness of heart disease or cholesterol, that's something you don't see physically on the outside. It's not something that you can necessarily, jump into unless it's a warning sign.
Yep, absolutely. So just to, I guess, branch off in a different direction, when you think of the medical community, so I went to my annual physical and had my checkup with my doctor, and she knows what I do for a living, and so she doesn't really talk to me about exercise. But typically you see ads for a lot of prescription medications and things like that, and I guess I always go by this, like an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So if you can just start to dedicate a little bit of time. A little bit of time to them, but also we're about to go on break, and when we come back, I'd love to be able to jump into that session with your doctor and get that experience from that personal perspective. Okay.
So thank you. We'll be right back.
Think you've seen everything there is to see in online television? Let us surprise you. Visit voiceamerica.tv today for sports, health, business, and more on demand 24/7.
Want more insight to transform your health and your world? Visit Roots2WingsTransformations.org and join the email list for the radio show Insight Living with Vitality, provided by Melissa Alexander. While on her website, learn more about lymphatic system cleansing, additional services offered, read reviews, and how you can start your own transformation. Visit R2WTransformations.org. That's R2W Transformations.org and download your free self-assessment guide to get started now. Contact Melissa today and ask for insight.
Follow the Voice America Talk Radio Network on Twitter. We're at Voice America TRN. You'll get the latest fix on what's happening with our shows, this week's featured guests, and general happenings that you should know about at the Voice America Talk Radio Network. Now you don't have to miss anything when you're away from your home or office. Just go to twitter.com/Voice America TRN or follow along with us at Voice America TRN. The Voice America Talk Radio Network. We're on the cutting edge of social media. Can you keep up?
Have you had a chance to check out Voice America's online magazine and blog, Press Pass? If you love our hosts and shows, check out articles that give an even deeper perspective. Plus topics about health and fitness, movie reviews, philosophy, business tips and tactics, spirituality, positive thought, current events, and even more about your favorite host. It's just a click away at vapresspass.com. That's vapresspass.com. VA Press Pass by Voice America. All access, all the time.
Opinions, options, answers. You're listening to Voice America Health and Wellness.
You are listening to Insight Living with Vitality, provided by Melissa Alexander. If you would like to reach the program today, our toll-free number is 1-866-472-5792. Again, that's 1-866-472-5792. If you'd rather send an email, please send it to Melissa at r2wtransformations.org. That's Melissa at r2wtransformations.org. Now, back to Insight Living with Vitality.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Melissa Alexander, and here with me is my featured guest, Galen Holmes. He is the general manager of the Campus Fitness Center here in bustling Marlborough, Massachusetts. His center is exclusive to the lucky employees of the Multi-Business Industrial Office Park. You can visit Galen's website at campusfitnesscenter.com to learn more about him, his programs, and for inspiration to get your body moving. And we were just talking with Galen about his personal experience, not only with the doctor and in fitness, but we're going to jump into how with your son and his health and how he plays basketball and your experience with assisting youth to become better in their fitness regimen.
Absolutely. So over my career, I've worked with kids, I've worked with Division I athletes, and worked with obviously the average, primarily what I work with now, the average desk worker, that kind of thing. But I think my son, he regularly every week always says to me, Dad, why are you always talking about health? And I always impress upon him, like, health is a gift, and you need to start at a young age appreciating that gift and doing things to maintain and improve that gift. Because it's, obviously you don't want to go and then get later on in your life, and then all of a sudden you've lost health and wish maybe you had the chance to, or went back and would do things a little bit differently, with maybe you wouldn't smoke and maybe you would eat a better diet and exercise a little bit. So he definitely gives me a hard time, and that's okay, because I think all parents with kids, it's, your kids certainly aren't going to like everything that you have to say. So, but it's interesting. So he plays basketball. And I guess so I do get people that ask me periodically, hey, can you write a program for my son? And we don't serve outside populations here, so I typically don't. And I always get, the best thing for kids, what they really need is supportive and encouraging parents to give them tools to be active. I think the best thing for kids with regards to staying fit is to play multiple sports and not just train for one sport, because it makes it more fun and engaging for the child. They develop their bodies in different ways as well. So I think that's really important too. And I think too for kids, I think specialization, I have a friend of mine who owns a small training studio, and he has a lot of hockey players that come in, and he's like, a lot of these 10, 11, and 12-year-old hockey players already have overuse injuries because that's all they do is play hockey year-round with very few breaks to do anything else. So, but I think the best thing, like just getting back into more general health, is parents to definitely encourage your kids to be healthy. Don't look at it as, well, they can worry about that stuff later, because the sooner you start appreciating those things, the better you'll take care of those things and make better decisions about what you put in your body, and smoking and exercising and things like that.
And I like how you touched upon the overusage, because if you do the same activity over and over again and your body is no longer challenged, then you see that overusage, and you can see that your body is actually calling for something different. So you make a guess, you keep it on, doing different things that you'd absolutely be able to then compound upon that and make that overall whole integrated process and from a holistic perspective, rather than just in that one streamlined way.
Absolutely. And it's important for kids to play different sports and also have just some playtime. I think as adults, we all want to go out and like structure, everything. So I'm a football coach, and so my son had a birthday party like 4 or 5 years ago. So I'm out there organizing teams, putting in play. But my wife is like, "What are you doing? Just let the kids play." And I'm like, you know what? You're absolutely right. I do need to let the kids play. But, and I think adults are kind of the same thing too, and I think it's important too that, obviously as a trainer with people, we'll go ahead and advise them and recommend things and design things for them to do. But then I also like to give people choice in their programs as well, because that gives them some ownership. And then anytime you have ownership in anything, you're going to be more likely to stick with it versus, I have to do this thing this trainer wrote for me, or if it's like, hey, this is my design. So I do require my son exercises 3 days a week. And we have a deal. I have a short little program I wrote for him. It's only about 10 minutes, and it's more about just creating that habit more than the fitness benefits that he'll gain. And then the other, he can do whatever he wants, so it's kind of cool that way. And I try to apply that even with adults too, giving them some choice and into the things that they do as well. And
in that playtime, they said it applies with the kids, but also with the adults.
Absolutely.
Give them that playtime, give them those activities or group activities where it can be combined with social, but it also can be combined with the ability to get progress.
Absolutely. I had attended a seminar where a doctor had talked. He had been essentially devoted his work to study metabolism. And so he introduced me to this idea called NEAT, and it's non-exercise thermogenic activity. So basically, or activity thermogenesis, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So basically what it is it's the sum total of all the activity you get in your life outside of your formalized exercise or workouts. So things that would be included in that: walking, playing ultimate frisbee, going for a hike, riding, going for a bike ride, walking laps around the office at work, standing and just maybe lightly marching in place while you're on a conference call at your desk, all those different things. And what he found was that if people can get 180 minutes of this neat activity during every single week, in addition to a couple other formalized workouts, that they will be 10 to 20% more likely to successfully lose weight, but also keep weight off. The other thing is life always throws twists and turns. So you might be a person who goes to the gym religiously 4 days a week. However, sometimes maybe you get a little injury or something blows up at work or there's stuff going on in your personal family life. You have to be able to find ways so it doesn't become an inactive period. And that's where using this neat idea can come into play. Just finding other ways, how can I be active? You know, the simplest thing is take the stairs. If you're walking by the stairs to go take the elevator, you're missing out on an opportunity. And if you're parking at the closest possible spot to your office door, you're missing out on an opportunity as well. Except in New England, when there's a foot of snow, then you can park close because you're going to get your knee by shoveling.
You don't want to slip on that black ice.
That's right. And you're going to be shoveling. So,
but yes, but people don't realize that is an opportunity for fitness, for their brain and their body at the same time.
Absolutely.
The social aspect, the play aspect, and though, yes, they're not officially in gym clothes, sweating or having to shower or that formality, it can still lead towards the goals.
Absolutely.
And that sounds like it's a perfect structure to make that combination, to not have it be that intimidation or I have to go do this again or have that excuse be I'm too tired. It's fun and engaging.
And we have a couple of people that come into our gym, so they work here on campus, and they come in 3 times a day, every single day. And they don't change into exercise clothes. They're strictly reducing stress, want to get a little bit healthier. So they come in the morning. One guy does some upper body machines, comes in at lunch, walks on the treadmill or pedals the bike for like 10 minutes, and then comes back later in the day and does like some lower body and some core. And he breaks it down. He's not working out a sweat. He's not, training for the Olympics or anything, but for his goal of just health and becoming more active and finding a way to increase my activity level, he's taking advantage of it. People always ask, like, who is that guy that comes in? He's in like work clothes and like, hey, you know what? He's in there every day. He's getting 30 minutes of activity. He's doing some strength. He's doing some cardio, and he's breaking up his day. I wish more people would do that. It doesn't all have to be you don't just put fitness in a box where it has to be, I have to go do this regimented workout with bench pressing and squatting and lunging and all these different things. It can be whatever you want. You just got to find things you like to do because those are the things that you'll stick with and you'll be more sustainable with your activity.
Yeah. And we've seen that shift to people now standing at their desk, or I've even seen like a treadmill desk, people walking at the desk. So you can do that work and get your activity at the same time and have your brain benefit because of that. Absolutely. And so what do you think, as there's such an overwhelming issue in the nation and the world with obesity and overall reduced health? What would be your viewpoint on that? I know you touched a little bit on the story with your doctor, but what do you think is there that's specific?
Yeah, I think just going back to the doctor, and I'm going to ask her next time, but they should have exercise physiologists in these doctors' office, because if you go to the doctor and your cholesterol is a little high, your blood pressure is a little high, maybe they'll give you some medicine, maybe they won't, but generally everybody's going to walk out, hey, lose weight and start exercising. And then someone who doesn't know what to do, that's too broad of a picture, but if they had a chance in a doctor's office to meet with an exercise physiologist who could at least give them some more specific guidelines and some follow-up and things like that, I think it would be a lot more successful. It's too broad of a picture. Go start exercising. Because there's so much information, people can easily get overwhelmed. Oh my gosh, what should I do? And that's the thing I love about that NEAT concept is everybody can walk. Everybody can take the stairs. Everybody can, or just about everybody can do those things, and should take full advantage of it.
Mm-hmm. And through those obstacles that you see that if they provided that information, or the streamlined from the overwhelming mess of information out there on social media, pre-canned resources, people's opinions. You know, you talk to each person, you're going to get a whole different suggestion. You really refine it, and you have it at a trainer perspective, create that own personalized plan for you, and that you can set those goals, put it on paper if that's what the person's personality wants to see. They want to see it done in steps. Or do they want to just have this broad, free-flowing atmosphere? But that trainer would then be able to help make that decision, and then they could move forward rather than just be overwhelmed by the idea.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's something that we're missing in, I guess, the medical care. Everything is treating symptoms, like, oh, your blood pressure's high, take this pill, and I would just like to see it work, I guess, move more toward a preventative thing than a treating symptoms type of thing.
And have it be as an integrative, where you can, like you've already shown through your center, that integrative atmosphere, it lends itself to people can then tap into one thing or another, or do both, or do everything.
Absolutely.
Based on that, and keeps that motivation. And you also touch a little bit on diet and eating to support the goals, since people mostly want to lose weight, but also be better mindset to connection of digestion. What do you focus on and provide in the aspect of the eating realm?
So, and that's always so if someone's trying to lose weight or lose body fat, it's really what you eat has more of an impact than anything you can do from a fitness perspective. So the saying is, you can't out-train a bad diet. So you could be doing all these great workouts that are perfectly designed for you and what you're trying to attain, but if you're putting garbage in your body, you're not gonna see the results. You're not gonna see the benefit. On a daily basis, we get asked about this diet. What do you think of Atkins? What do you think of Weight Watchers? What do you think about all these different things? And I'm not going to express my opinions about anything here. I think that's outside the scope of the show. But the things I give people as a guidance are to ask themselves this question. One, is it sustainable? Can you see yourself eating in that pattern for the rest of your life? And if the answer is no, then it's not for you, because different ways of eating, there's all different types of fasting diets now, and low carb and high protein and no carb and high carb, all these different things. You have to find what works for you, and you might have to go through a little bit of trial and error to get to that point. But no matter what eating plan you're following, Melissa, you can build it around making healthy choices. Lean meats, fresh fruits and vegetables, plenty of water, take fish oil every day, and make sure that you're limiting simple sugars and soda, baked goods, those types of things. Now, the tricky thing is, with people is we want to find a balance, right? So I certainly, and I love food. Thank goodness I love to work out, because I love food, Nice. And I'll admit it here on the radio that I do probably eat a little bit more than I should at times, but fortunately I have access to a gym and I can get in there and try to work it off. But
and you know that you're indulging, and with that indulgence, that yes, you can combat it by upping your exercise or doing this to be able to maintain your balance.
Absolutely.
Overall.
Yeah, absolutely. But so for people for an eating plan, find it sustainable. As you research it, look at it and figure out, is this something that I can do for a long period of time? And if the answer is no, then it's probably not a good choice. If people just focus more on eating for health, and making good choices, and just combine that with some consistent, exercise, and the results will come. The results will come.
Yeah. And it'll come from a healthy perspective rather than trying to force your body and your mind to adhere to something that you don't like.
Absolutely.
And that positive mindset is really where I'd love to be able to share my positive mindset, that I want to thank you for your insight today and helping me accelerate my knowledge, refine my skills, and live with more vitality. Because with this knowledge, you can apply it and you can grow from that. And I see here within your clients that same continued progress and transformation, and I'm happy to be a part of your team. And I look forward to sharing more with you in the future.
Absolutely. Thanks again. This was great, and I hope I have a chance to do it again in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us this week for Insight Living with Vitality, provided by Melissa Alexander. Tune in for more insight next Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. Pacific on the Voice America Health and Wellness channel. Have a healthy and enlightening week.